Hi, this is John Adams, and thank you for joining me today. This video is one of several in a series that I'm producing on tips that you can use to speed up a PC that's performing a little too slowly. In this video, we're going to talk about malware. Malware, the word is an abbreviation of two words, malicious and software, and what we're talking about is programs that are installed on your PC that don't necessarily do what you think they do. And we'll get a little bit more into pretty much what that means as we discuss these three categories. The three we're looking at here are free software, spyware, and virus. And there are probably a few more, but these cover the majority of the malware type software that you'll see today. Free software is just that. It's something that was provided to you free of charge and on the pretense that it was going to deliver some kind of useful functionality for you, but in fact has a hidden agenda. In other words, on screen you may see one thing, behind the scenes what you're not seeing, something else may be going on. In some cases it's just poorly designed software and it uses a lot of CPU cycles to do something that you don't necessarily need, and there may be better performing software available for you. The other thing about free software is that too often it comes with software that tracks what you're doing. It tracks keystrokes, it tracks websites that you visit, and it reports back to a home server somewhere, and somebody else will use that information, not necessarily having your best interests at heart. Best way to get rid of free software, in other words, it's probably something that you consciously installed, and it should show up in Control Panel. You can simply go to the Windows Control Panel to the Uninstall a Program section and then find it there and uninstall it. I've got another video that basically goes through that process if you're not clear on how to do that. Spyware is a little more insidious than the free software. Quite often spyware comes in the form of something that gets downloaded when you visit a website, doesn't necessarily announce to you that it's being installed. There's a lot of overlap between these categories. Spyware often shows up in free software as well. The similar concept. What they're doing is watching what your PC usage patterns are, but in many cases spyware is, like I said, a little bit more serious, and it frequently is capturing keystrokes, which would be logon IDs and passwords to various websites. The most serious, of course, being your banking and credit card type websites. So again, it's a problem that you definitely want to be aware of. Now, spyware is generally designed not to be noticeable. And so for that reason, in many cases, spyware will not be causing your PC to slow down because the people that write that software don't want you to know that they're even there. I'm including this because I just want to make sure that you're aware that this software can be a problem. Now, there are a slightly different kind of programs, and so you'll need a different program to take care of the problem. And in many cases, you're not even aware of it. So the best bet is to just download an anti-spyware program. And a couple here that I've got on screen are examples. They're both free: Super Anti-Spyware and Malwarebytes. If you just search Google for anti-spyware, then you'll get several examples that are available out there. I would do a little bit of research and look at what other people are saying. As I mentioned, two that I'm familiar with, Super Anti-Spyware and Malwarebytes, ranked very highly. There are organizations that do the research, they test the programs, and they basically have rated these two very, very well. So do a little bit of research, and a good idea to install one of these programs. Now, these programs need to be installed and then they need to be run periodically, and they basically scan your entire computer hard disk and look for any programs that have been classified as spyware, and then you just tell them to uninstall it and it will find it, uninstall it, and you should be safe at that point. Virus is the worst case scenario. Virus was written specifically to do some sort of damage. They delete files. They render your system unusable. They will redirect your web browsing so that you can never go to Google or you can never go to AOL. They're malicious, of the most serious kind. And as with spyware, viruses very frequently capture keystrokes and try to determine, when you're going to a banking website, what your password and login ID are. One of the biggest problems with viruses, however, and this is going to become more of a problem as time goes on, because some hackers are now being very seriously intent on taking down business websites, and they do a function called distributed denial of service attack. And literally they have to enlist the help of thousands and thousands of individual computers, and with the virus program installed, they at a specific time of day on a certain date, they instruct all of those computers to start trying to log on to a specific website, whether it be a banking website or a government office website, whatever it is. And most websites are designed with limited resources. And so they anticipate maybe a few hundred people logging on at any given time. And when thousands and thousands of computers start trying to log on, then they simply use up all those resources and they lock up those websites. And so with all these viruses attacking a website, actual legitimate customers and website users cannot get to the website. Now, if this is a business and they get this attack and that attack lasts for any significant period of time, then there's potential for that business, if they rely on their website, it could potentially take them out of business. And at the bottom of the screen, I've got three examples: Norton Utilities, AVG Antivirus, and Microsoft Security Essentials. Now, of those three, Norton is a paid-for product, but the other two are free. And again, I suggest that you do a little bit of research and search for antivirus software on Google, and get some idea of what features each one of these various programs provide. I personally use Microsoft Security Essentials. It comes from Microsoft, integrates well with Windows 7, and the reviews that I've read rate it very highly. Basically, it gets the job done for me, and so I haven't felt any need to go with a paid version of an antivirus program. As with all of these programs, your best bet is to be vigilant and take care not to allow the programs to be installed in the first place. However, even the most careful users do occasionally slip up, and for that reason, the idea is to just set up a schedule where you run antivirus and anti-spyware software every so often, and every so often really means maybe once a week, and allow the programs to run completely on your entire computer system, and give you a thorough checkup so that you're clean. Now we're going to go through a quick demonstration. I've got Microsoft Security Essentials installed. It's this little green tint looking thing, so I'm going to open that program. I'm not going to run the program. I'm just going to show you the menu and give you an idea of what it looks like. You can see on the main home tab is the opening screen, and if all I want to do is run a quick scan, I can just click on Scan Now, and it'll do that. It'll take about 2 or 3 minutes, and it does just a quick scan of the programs that are running, and it looks at the Microsoft files that are the most likely to be affected by spyware. The full option, which is next, scans everything on my computer, and that takes sometimes 20 to 30 minutes to run. And then custom allows me to select different hard drives, allows me to select different files and things like that. So it's kind of like a halfway point between quick and full. Generally, I run quick every few days, and then I do custom. And with custom, let me just show you what it does. I can actually select which drives, and I have two different drives, C and D. My D is primarily data. There are no programs on D, so there's really not much point in running a scan of D very often. About once a month, I do allow it to do a full scan of the D drive, because I download files, do some modifications and so forth, and eventually, like I said, something might slip in there. So that's the schedule that I use. you'll want to think about how you use your computer, how often you download files, whether or not you get files from friends and family members through email. That would be pictures, videos. Any of that can contain viruses and malware in it these days, and so it's just best to be vigilant and make sure you've got some protection software installed and just be as safe as you can. Well, that's it for antivirus software. I'm John Adams. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope to see you again soon in another video.